Good day, everyone. You're welcome to yet another episode of the Yaba Voice webinar. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're staying safe out there. Ah, I know we have been going through quite a lot of things in this country currently. You can imagine the fuel, the naira crunch, and so many things. We just got to survive. And I hope you're staying fit. It's a whole lot, I understand that. And there's so much emotion attached to all of these things. Yes, even with the election too. So much fear, anxiety, worries about what will happen, how will it happen, and a lot of other things going on around us. But please just note that your mental health is paramount. In all of those things, we have to ensure that our mental health is at the optimum and that there is no compromise in that. So you're welcome to another episode of the Yaba Voice webinar. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever it is that you're joining us from today. The medical director is here to formally welcome us to yet another episode of the webinar. Over to you, Dr. Lubenga Dekele. Owoye. The medical director, sir. Okay, I guess the medical director is still trying to connect.
Okay.
All right, the medical director is here. Over to you, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Akintoyese. I'm glad to be with you this morning. And thank you for the good work you are really doing. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to this special edition of our webinar by Yaba Voice, which is for the third month in the year 2023. Yaba Voice is a platform for mental health education, advocacy, and community outreach. It is a social media platform of Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, through which the hospital creates awareness and educate the populace on topical mental health issues. Today's topic is women's mental health issues, causes, and prevention. As we all know, mental health is very important for effective performance of our day-to-day activities. Hence, during the World Mental Health Assembly in May 2021, governments around the world recognized the need to scale up quality mental health care at all levels. And what is the reason behind this? Number one out of
All right, we just lost the medical director. I'm sure he's going to join us back as soon as possible. We're sorry for this technical hitch. Please just understand that it's also not within our control, and that's how we should also begin to look at events that happens in our life that are not within our control. We'll just find a way to manage it as much as possible so that we are able to move forward. The medical director will join us and finish up his welcome as soon as he is able to. But before the medical director comes back online, I want to quickly just say out a poem for every woman on this platform, and not just on this platform alone, for every woman out there. Don't forget that the month of March is also the International Women's Day. And so we're saying Happy Women's Day to every woman out there who is a survivor, who is also diligent and doing what it is that they know best how to do, which is being a woman. Now, I'm going to read that out. The poem says, call me a woman, roles that grow stronger than a tree. You carry food to the nations. You bring leaders and heroes in this world. Your dignity calms the storm. Call me a woman. With my hands I mold, caring and giving love to the nation. Softness that produce strong soldiers, soldiers in making, fighting for a better life for all. Call me a woman. Creator of wealth in this cold world, beautiful rose, you grow in the desert world. Builders that would never give up. In your milk we drink and live. Senders of important output to the world. Call me a woman.
Network
Creator,
is so bad this morning.
MD sir, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, sir, finish up.
Thank you. Okay, so let me just finish the introduction. Sorry for the break in transmission. It's due to network issue. Kindly bear with me. Just like as I said earlier, during the World Mental Health Assembly in May 2021, government from around the world recognized the need to scale up quality mental health care at all levels. What is the reason behind this? It is because 1 out of every 4 persons has one diagnosable mental health issue or the other. And not that alone, only 75% of these people has access to quality mental health services. So in today's webinar, there are many questions to be addressed on women's mental health issues. For instance, what do we understand by mental health? What are the mental health issues related to?
I'm so sorry, so very sorry about that. The MD just gone off again. It's just gone off again. Just give us a minute or two. Very sorry about this. I will sincerely apologize. Okay, so let me just finish up my poem. All right, so call me a woman. To every woman out there, rose that grows stronger than a tree. You carry food to the nations. You bring leaders and heroes in this world. Your dignity calms the storm. Call me a woman. With my hands, I mold, caring and giving love to the nation. Softness that produce stronger soldiers, soldiers in making, fighting for a better life. Curator of wealth in this cold world. Beautiful rose, you glow in the desert world. Builders that will never give up. In your milk will drink and live. Senders of important output to the world. Call me a woman. I have stood firm through my storm and I am standing. I have rolled down many hills only to find myself standing back up, dusted myself up just to keep pushing. I have fought through the hardest time in my life only to shine like the strong woman that stands before you now. I have cried a million times and felt like life was not worth living only to see that the next day comes and I'm stronger again, ready to confront the world. I'm a strong woman to every part of my soul. I may not look like it, but walk a day in my shoe and tell me, I have lost the best of me, yet I am still producing the best of me. I am keeping on like yet nothing has ever happened to me. I can never look like what I feel on the inside because I carry the world on my shoulder. Call me a woman. I am aware of what it is to be a woman, and yet I am happy to be called a woman. So call me a woman. Happy International Women's Day to everyone out there on this platform. Every woman, every wife, we celebrate you. We so very much celebrate you. And today's webinar is specifically for you so that you can understand that we hear you, will see, you will feel what is it that you're going through. And we are here to support you all the way through until you are able to be the very best that you should be. The medical director is back. Sir? Is the medical director
very
back?
much. Sorry for this network issue today. Very sorry for this network issue
Recording
today.
in progress.
Just like I said earlier, right? What do we understand by mental health? What mental health issue relate to women? How important is mental health of this group of people? And at what point do we say mental health of women is compromised? In addition to that, what are the factors? So what are those things that can compromise mental health of anyone? Into this presentation, we have two important experts to address this issue. The first on the list is Dr. Funmilayo Akintola. Dr. Funmilayo Akintola is a chief consultant psychiatrist with over 25 years of experience. She has been involved in the hospital community outreach programs, psychiatric rehabilitation, and mental health advocacy. Dr. Akintola is a fellow.
We apologize sincerely for that. The medical director would have to greet us at the end of the webinar. Dr. Woye, please prepare to send a message to us at the end of this webinar. We have to move ahead now because of our time, and we do not want to waste our time.
In our own psychology
Hello, we're sorry for this. Honestly, we are very sorry for it. It's like I said, this is not just within our control. We have done virtually everything within our control to ensure that today's webinar is very perfect and beautiful. But the network is just not cooperating with us. We are very sorry for that. But we'll go quickly to the discussion of the day. Dr. Akinola will be starting, and then she will be talking to us on what mental health is. When we talk about women's mental health, Dr. Akinola, what exactly are we talking about? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, our moderator, and good afternoon to everybody online. I'm glad to be here today. So we're going to talk about women's mental health. And before we go ahead, let me just quickly talk about what mental health is really. We do know that mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual, an individual will realize his or her own abilities, can cope with normal stressors of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or our own community. And we must also remember that to be able, in order for us to maintain our well-being, our good well-being, mental health, we must remember that there's a higher being up there, a God that is above each and every one of us. So when we have a relationship with God, then it makes things easier for us. And so we must remember that mental health, when we talk about mental health, it is a continuum, really. So it's either at both ends. Good, one end is very good mental health, at the other is low mental health, so which can mean technically that the person has a mental health disorder. And so practically most people are in between, at the middle, and going towards either very good health or low mental health. So it is a spectrum. So today we are going to talk about female mental health. And I want to look at it from three main angles. Remember the definition I just gave. It talks about well-being. So when we look at the well-being of a woman, so we're going to look at them cognitively. That's the ability for a woman to, your ability to be able to function, your memory. You get information, you synthesize it, you plan, you execute the plan. That is the cognitive domain. Okay? An ability to retain information, logic, to boost your logic. We talked about the emotional domain for a woman. That's very important. Many people say women are very emotional. They shouldn't allow them into organization or put them on managerial level and CEO level because they are too emotional. You can imagine that. So all of us must learn because we are all creatures of emotions, definitely. So we must learn to manage our emotions. How am I feeling right now? Right now, am I upset with my boss? Am I upset with my husband, my children? Be in contact with our emotion and learn to manage it. Identify what you're feeling at every point in time and learn to manage it. Even in the workplace, in the marketplace. There's some women in the market, you try and price something and they will start abusing you. Whereas you enter somebody over you, she's so nice, she's so cordial, even if you did not buy anything that day, but because she was so nice to you. Another time when you want to buy something, you remember her and go to her shop. So that is the ability for all of us to learn to manage our emotions. So we now talk about the psychological domain. This is our ability to adapt to life changes. We know that is one thing that is called constant in life, and that is change. And all of us must learn, particularly women that we are talking about today, to adapt to changes in our lifestyle. So what is it? Sometimes different stages of our life. The children are now leaving home. It's going to be you and your husband. I heard about a woman, the children had left home. It was now she and her husband. That's midlife crisis. And the husband was always after her. You have not cleaned this place. This place has to be clean. She has to clean every day, every second of the moment. And this was causing problem in our marriage. So all women, we must learn psychologically that change is a constant in life. And when it comes, we have to be able to change and adapt. So those are the different ways that we must look at ourselves as women and learn to cope with life. So why is mental health quite important in women? Because I think we need to talk about that. We do know from research that at least every one person in 5 women have a common mental illness or mental health problems. Okay, we know that, and that these mental health illnesses, they tend to occur twice as many times in male. So, for example, depression occurs twice in females than in male. Anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, all of this because it involves emotions. They tend to occur more in female. And you know that common mental illnesses are the ones that we say that they are endemic in the community. So they have more to do with our emotions. So this tends to occur more in females than in males. And of course, we know that women, most times, instead of us talking about our emotions, we tend to internalize them. For example, a woman that is having domestic abuse issues, she's going to keep quiet. Rarely. It's just now that they are learning to speak out. They'll say they don't want their husband, people to start talking about the husband, he's going to get better. They keep these things to themselves. And we know when you internalize your feelings, your emotions, it's like you're sitting on a keg of gunpowder until one day when everything will explode. So we need to talk about this sexual assault from close relatives. We women, we keep quiet, we do not talk about it most times. Okay? Whereas we do know that when men have these issues, what they do usually is to start having disruptive or antisocial behaviors to let people know. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so, and we know that we women, we are wonderfully and fearfully made. We have a lot of emotions raging in our bodies. The hormones will come when we are starting your period, menarche, young age. Hormones are everywhere when you're pregnant. Hormones are disappearing when menopause kick in. All these things do have effects on our emotions. So it is important that women learn all this and tend to manage and know what to expect at the different stages of their life. And we must remember, a woman does a lot. She's the focal point in any home. They say there's a saying that if you train a woman, you have trained the whole country or you've trained the whole nation. She takes care of herself, her husband, the children. She put everybody centered, all activities. You even have some women that you see in a household, you have 3 generations, and it is the woman there that is taking care of everybody. So you can imagine the enormous things that women and activities that we do in order to maintain things. And we must also remember, for sometimes we talk about being a female. Some pregnancies are not wanted. A man has had 4 females, then she'll have another male, and you say, don't bring that baby to my house, And that child, you can imagine that child growing up in that kind of home. She will always feel that she's not wanted. So females tend to go through a lot. Then sometimes they say, I can't send you to school. Why should I send you to school? You're going to end up in a man's kitchen anyway. And if those things are not managed, that we allow that child, we let the child know that she's loved, she's wanted, all these things can lead to emotional problems later on. So, okay, so I think I will stop here for now and allow our beautiful moderator to say something. Thank you very much.
Oh, she just called me beautiful. Thank you. All right, so thank you so very much, Dr. Akiola, for that. And then she had told us what women mental health is all about, as well as why we are talking about it. And I see that somebody just sent in a question when she talked about adaptation. We will get to the question and answer time. And that's why I want us to run as fast as possible so that we can be able to take as much questions as possible today, because I know we have quite a lot of burning issues as women to talk about. Then we'll go to Dr. Akogo. Dr. Akogo is going to tell us, yes, what are those factors or the risk factors that makes women susceptible to mental health issues. Dr. Akiola has told us that 1 in 4, 1 in 5, according to WHO, it breaks down. What are those factors that makes women profoundly susceptible to mental health issues? Over to you, Dr. Akogo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I must apologize that my camera is not working, so I can't show my face as such. But I guess you are listening to my voice. You can hear my communication. So thank you very much for inviting me to take on this topic as well. Some of the factors, even though Doctor had already spoken about some of them, I will just emphasize on some of them that are important that we should know and that are already there that we know, but we usually don't pay attention to them. So this is a forum where we need to understand, we need to know that women's mental health is very important, and so many things happen to them that we just need to talk about the issue of women's mental health. So mental health disorder can affect anyone. It's not just women, male. It can affect gender. At any age, it can happen. However, gender is critical determinant of mental health and mental illness because women and men are different, not only in their obvious physical attributes, but also in their psychological makeup. Women and men differ in the way they communicate, the way they deal with relationship, express their feeling, and react to stress. We are all different. Even though we are all human beings, there are different ways through which we manifest these attributes. So the pattern of psychological distress and psychiatric disorder among women are different from those even among men, as women have a higher means of internalizing their disorder than men. Men can think of issue over and over and over and ruminate over it. And that makes them different from men that may probably get into another activity and remove that from their mind. Particularly in the rate of common mental disorder, women predominate in this things in this aspect. So the factors that contribute to women's mental health problems include biological factors. And when we are looking at biological factors, we're talking of genetics, we're talking of hormonal changes and fluctuation in women. It is a very common thing, it's a very difficult thing for a woman. And this thing starts right from the time she reaches puberty. Once she started menstrual flows, hormonal issues set in. Some women experience a lot of pain during their menstrual period. There is a lot of issue, a lot of symptoms, psychological symptoms that come with the menstrual flow. Irritability, all sorts of things, anxiety, depression, all sorts of things happen during the menstrual flow. And then we look at pregnancy. From menstrual flow, some women get pregnant, and the pregnancy comes with a lot of fluctuation in hormones. So, and that also comes with a lot of things. And we know that during pregnancy, women or birth, women can come down with postpartum psychosis, postpartum depression. These are things that we every day where I work, we deal with women who give birth, and after some time, they are depressed in such a way that we have to manage them. What of menopause? As women get older, as we reach the time at the age of 40, as we reach the age of 50, when the menstrual flow is beginning to cease, you also encounter a lot of hormonal fluctuation, which bring in a lot of mental health issues, such like depression, sort of anxiety, a lot of stress that happen. Now, we will also pay attention to women that do not even have children, who cannot even bear children. Infertility, it comes with a lot of problem as well. A woman who cannot give birth is always worried, is disturbed. Probably her in-laws are even disturbing her and disturbing the husband to marry another woman. That is something that brings her down, something that causes her depression, something that causes her stress, something that causes her anxiety, a lot of anxiety. So these are issues that women face every day, that is a problem for them, that it causes them mental health problem. There are also certain types of depression that are unique to women. And those are the ones that I have just mentioned. Those ones that has to do with hormonal changes, very important. They are things that disturb women. And studies have shown that 12% of women compared to 6% of men get depression due to this hormonal changes, due to depression. Depression in a woman may be related to changes in hormonal level that occur throughout a woman's life. And that is true, I have mentioned it. These changes are evident during puberty, pregnancy, and menopause, as well as giving birth. Some women give birth and they will not want to touch the child, which is what we call postpartum psychosis or depression. During miscarriages as well, women experience all this that happen. Sorry, I hope that I'm not just talking to myself. Can you hear me, ma'am?
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. So I go on. So in addition to hormonal fluctuation that occurs with each month's menstrual cycle, premenstrual syndrome, some women suffer from premenstrual syndrome, PMS. It's a very common thing. And I have one patient that each time is that time she must come to the hospital because all the symptoms that she has just comes back and she's coming to me for therapy. So these things are things that disturb women. Now, let's leave the hormonal fluctuation. What of genetics, inheritance? Women also inherit mental disorders from either their parents, from their parents. And even though men also inherit it, women come down with so many of these things. Anxiety disorder, depression, schizophrenia, and many more run in families that women also inherit. Depression symptoms or symptoms of depression, anxiety, and unspecific psychological distress are 2 to 3 times more common among women than men. Women also suffer from addiction. So many things that are happening in their life, they suffer from addiction, substance use disorder, psychopathic personality disorder are also issues. Personality disorders are also issues that also disturb men. And we learn that women also come down more than men in this forum, in this aspect. Several forms of discrimination seems to increase in incidence of depression in women. Discrimination everywhere, even in her home, there may be discrimination where the man has more than one wife. There may be discrimination between the wives. Where she works, there is discrimination between the male and the female, who to take what position, who take what office, even when she is qualified. Such things does happen. And those are things that have a bearing on her mental health. What of the valued achievement from either her husband or even in the office? People will sometimes value more men achievements than women. And so these are things that disturb women. Everyday discrimination makes women feel lack of control in their lives, and this contributes to depression. So depression is one of the commonest symptoms or commonest mental health problems that many women come down with. Even though we have women who have schizophrenia, other mental health, women come down more with depression than any other mental health problem.
Dr.
And
Kongo,
studies have
Dr.
shown that,
Dr.
yes.
Kongo, sorry, I have to stop you here because of our time. I know you still have so much that you want to tell us about, but then let's just try so we can be able to meet up with the 1 hour. Well, I hear Dr. Kongo has told us that we have genetic issues, we have hormonal, we also have discriminatory factors, the cultural pressure, among other things, even less value for women achievements. Men are more celebrated than women are celebrated, among other things like that. Because we have questions already coming in, and that's why I want us to take it as fast as possible so we can meet up with that 1 hour. Talk about discrimination. And somebody had already affirmed that even in the university, they want to take more male than female. That also discrimination, even in universities, discrimination everywhere. And that also impinges on our self-confidence, how we see ourselves and value ourselves, and then we're able to also push on. But let's go to quickly move on. Dr. Akinola, I want us to be able to talk to us about what are the common mental health problems that we now find in women, and what are the signs that we need to watch out for? Because it's important that every woman on this call understand the signs to watch out for. When a woman starts crying, when she gives birth, they will not think that she's a Ogbanje or something. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, our dear moderator. Yes, because maybe I should just quickly run through the different diagnoses that we can have that women do come down with. We've talked about perinatal depression. It could be while the woman is still pregnant. It could be immediately after delivery. It could be 3 months after delivery, And so depression, we have anxiety disorders, we have menopause. Some people do come down with depression during their menopausal years. There'll be swing in their mood. There could be excessive weight gain. This is particularly troubling to women, and it comes with a lot of other symptoms. And we do know about post-traumatic stress disorder. This can be caused by sometimes sexual assault. It can be caused by trauma of any kind. And these women will keep reliving and being anxious when they see or remember the situation that caused that incident. So domestic violence, domestic abuse, gender abuse, which can be physical, it can be verbal, it can be financial for these women. Then, of course, depression, anxiety disorders, eating disorders. Well, we believe that in the past that eating disorders are not so common in this environment, but we are talking about women. We're celebrating women all over the world. But we are now having increasing incidences of eating disorders in our community. Substance use, particularly if the significant partner in that woman's life is using substances, then they are more prone to them. Then self-harm. we could just be a cry for help. And if it is not managed very well, it can lead to suicide, which is an intentional act of taking one's life. And remember loneliness, isolation. We should remember those that are widows, those that are single parents. All these are emotions that they can have. And like my other presenter said, infertility, trying to miscarriages, repeated miscarriages. So these are different forms of mental health issues in women. So what are the signs to look out for? Remember that this is a barrage of all kinds of diagnosis that can happen. Then depression can become psychotic. So women really can have psychotic illnesses. And what is a psychosis? That is just not, we say when somebody has lost touch with reality. Okay. So we now tend to have more of hallucinations and delusions. So what are the common signs to watch out for? I think the number one and the most significant symptom is change in behavior. Change in behavior. This person was like this before, but now she's behaving in another way. This woman used to, you get into our house will be clean, sparkling, you want to sit down. Now you go to a house, you can't even stand, you don't even want to lean against a wall. You get there or the house is smelling. Our children that used to look so well dressed, now they are barely keeping together. Their comb is, their hair not combed, the uniform or dresses are not ironed. So you see that change. There's somebody that used to get up early in the morning, now she wants to sleep. She'll tell you she's waking up at 10, 11. There's no woman that will tell you that she wakes up 10, 11. So an alarm should go off in our mind. I'm not saying we should all go around making diagnosis of depression or mental health issues in people, but this is just for us to check up on them and find out how they are really, really doing. So the most significant thing is change in behavior. They start keeping to themselves, withdrawing to self. Then sometimes you talk to people, you begin to pick abnormal ideas, ideologies, beliefs that they didn't have before. Or somebody, like talked about withdrawal, they just keep to themselves, you go to their house and they don't want to talk to you. Somebody that used to love to go out to parties, have girl time out, now she's no more interested. She doesn't even want to buy ashwebi, not because she doesn't have money. And I'm not saying buying ashwebi is good. I'm just using it as an example. Okay, now she's not interested. So losing interest in previous activities that used to give her pleasure. Then when you have a labor affect, what do I mean by that? 1 second, the woman is, amiable, you're talking nicely. Then maybe you just said a word and the mood will change. She'll become very irritable, or she can even burst out crying. So we talk about labor from normal to crying, shouting, and she doesn't want to talk to anybody. That change in mood is so rapid, and you are wondering what is going on with my friend, what is going on with my sister or my mother. And we must remember sleep, because we do know that sleep and mental illness, we say omoya, it's like poor sleep can cause a mental breakdown, and somebody that already has a mental illness might not be able to sleep. So you can see that it's a vicious circle. So when people can't sleep and they keep telling you, I am not sleeping, I can't sleep. So what do you do when you don't sleep? And they say that, well, I just lie down there and I'm thinking, or I get up, I start washing clothes in the middle of the night, start arranging wardrobe. Then you begin to think, what is going on with this woman? Okay, so when they are not eating, you notice a significant weight loss. I actually had a client, my friend's younger sister. When I saw her, I was like, is she a sickler? That was the first question that came out of my mouth, because she looked really, really bad because she had lost so much weight. And, of course, the diagnosis was depression at the end of the day. And when people are unduly suspicious, suspicious of everything and everyone around them, then we begin to think, what is going on with this woman? And sometimes they can't even have a good relationship anymore. They're just cranky everywhere they go, and nobody wants to stay around them. or they become withdrawn. That is so important. They keep to themselves. They don't want to talk. They don't want to, converse. They don't want to go out. So I think with all this in mind, let's just watch out for the woman. Get close to her. How are you doing? Is there anything going on? Is there any way I can come in and help you? And if you see that indeed there's something going on, please get help for her. Because sometimes we don't know what to do. Well, all of us should know where to go. Okay? You can call in the counselor. You can, if you say you don't want to come to psychiatric hospital, everybody knows. We have all these counseling units, practically all the general hospitals and all the, tertiary hospitals, okay? Federal medical centers. Nobody knows where you're going into. And that is because of stigma. But we need to remove stigma, because if you need help, it is always better to get help on time. So I think with this, we'll be able to find out if there's something is going on with our friend, our sister, our mother, or our niece. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Not just to find out if anything is going on with friends or neighbors, even with yourself.
Yes.
With you, so that you're able to understand that quite a lot of us are going through a lot of things. I was telling somebody, I said, yes, you may not directly have people dying or something, but the news and every other thing is impacting on all of us together. So we are going through all of this together. So please note this, not just begin to go and diagnose somebody that I know this person. No, look at yourself. Is it happening to me? And I love Busesi, thank you so much for your comment about you going through this. A lot of women are actually going through this, especially after childbirth. And really, sometimes people don't even understand what is happening and they just keep us there. We'll get to the questions as soon as possible, but please, before then, let's go over to Dr. Akogu once again, when Dr. Akogu will tell us about preventive measures. How can we prevent women's mental health issues? Dr. Akogu, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Well, the few that came to my mind now, I'm trying to look at it that I will encourage mental health services to be integrated within the primary health care. We have primary health cares all over the place. And if mental health services are integrated, women will have the chance to be screened for mental health problems during their antenatal and postnatal checkups. And then those who are vulnerable can be identified at an early stage. Planning for healthy pregnancy for women within pre-existing psychiatric disorder and women who take medication for mood or anxiety. This includes consultations about how to minimize risk. So such education can be passed during those gathering of antenatal or women's gathering, and so that we can educate them on those symptoms or those things that Dr. Akinola has spoken about. Now, assessing women's risks during postpartum depression or anxiety before and during pregnancy can also be discussed. All those things are very important. Now, we also look at community education, community-based education campaigns for creating awareness on dangers of gender-based violence is very important. Rape, sexual abuse is a very common thing now, and we need to intensify community-based education. Those campaigns need to be intensified in communities. So to address social and cultural barriers, it also that those community-based education will help to identify cultural barriers, because we have our cultures that we just stand on what they know and they do not want to change. Probably education in the community, on the media, and all can help people to begin to understand and begin to change their perception concerning women and what can be harmful to them. Those education can be held by mental health personnel or NGO or CBOs to educate the public. It's also very important to mental health promotion in schools. We can in schools, at home, in churches, very important. Workplaces, we can carry all this information to them to increase their awareness, including how to recognize mental health, just like Dr. Akinola has spoken. It is also good for women to be trained in life skills in school to build up their financial status and also social and emotional competence. This will help to mitigate a lot of problems and build coping skills and resilience in women and girls. It is also important to bring up or organize vocational trainings, vocational opportunity for women. Parenting skills is also a very important thing to think about, because some of these other starts from when the child is growing, and when there is a bad rearing upbringing, it begins to affect the girl and the woman right from there. How do you talk to your child? How do you talk to the women at home? So parenting skill, child communication is very, very important. Education on where to get professional help is also very important, just like we are talking now. If we are talking on radio or any media outfits, people will begin to understand some of the symptoms, will begin to understand that there is help available. Psychiatric, psychological help and treatments are very important. Now, we are happy about the mental health bill that came up recently. So we believe that in the mental health bill, there is a lot of recommendation. So maybe with that, government can put funds available where women can access treatment for those who are indigent. They can access, maybe it can be made available for them. So that, because there are many people who will not access treatment because they don't have money to come to the hospital. So that's very important. These are the few that came to my mind now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Kogun. And you know, I cannot agree less with you when you were talking about parenting styles, parenting skills, which seems to be one of the major factors that influences our world today. And you know, when children are not adequately equipped to face the world out there, then they would not be able to survive, and invariably a lot of things would happen to them. I see a comment here. Somebody said even some of the symptoms are affecting some of our teenagers, and you would also agree that the world out there, they are so influenced with so many things. The pressure out there, the social media pressure, the peer pressure, the pressure to be, the cultural pressure, it's so huge. And so their mind is going through to be or not to be. Don't forget that the adolescent period is also the crisis laden state. They are asking themselves, who am I? Am I a child? Am I an adult? I don't even know where I fit. So that age is also very loaded with a lot of things. In the month of May, we'll be talking about children's emotional health. You would want to be in that conversation, because we have a very robust package to discuss. But this is also just about women today. And Dr. Kiola is going to talk to us now on, yes, some women are going through a lot. They are going through a whole lot, as in a whole lot. Let me just share a question that just came in, because I want you to bear that in mind when you're attending to this, Dr. Kiola. She said, I have been abused for about 10 years in my marriage, physical and emotional, yet I cannot leave because I don't know where to start and how to go. She doesn't know how to start all over again. What do we do with this women? What's the recommendation? What's the way out? Especially for women who are going through quite a lot, and yet there seems to be no way out, or in quotes, no way out.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the question now. For example, that woman, I'm going to encourage you and encourage all of us, all women out there. We must learn to talk, to seek for help. It is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strong emotional health. Don't say, where are you going to start from? The most important thing is first of all, talk about it and get out of that situation. When you do, help will always come. For example, in Lagos State, there's the domestic DSVA, that's Domestic Sexual and Violence Agency. Just go there. Let that be your first point of call. They have empowerment section there too. But the important thing is go, or you call out. Now you have attended this webinar, so you know who to contact. You can contact us. You can contact the moderator, you can contact me, and we will see what can be done. You're smiling now, moderator. The most important thing is, please speak out. Don't keep this thing to yourself. So my question, moderator Ma, is that, so what can we do?
For women who are going through difficult times, how do we help women to become more resilient, self-aware, and ability to even to adapt and function effectively?
Well, I think this is one thing that we are doing now. I think knowledge is important. To know that you even have a problem, that issue is already 50% solved. So the next thing is, okay, now I acknowledge, I think there's something, or I think I might break down if I continue in this toxic environment. So what do we do? Please ask for help. You go out there, ask for help. Don't worry. Just anybody you can call. The first thing is to break that secrecy. Because when you feel that, they're going to talk about me, or I'm not going to get help, that is when you hold yourself in. Ask for help. You can come to Yaba. You can go to DSVA. Is in they're in Ikeja, Alausa around. Come and see the psychiatric mental health team. The psychiatrists are there, the psychologists, social worker, everybody is available. So please don't keep quiet. And if you have significant others in your life, talk to them. Okay? So how do we manage change? Like I said, it's psychological. Change is going to happen. There's nothing any one of us can do about it. But how do we look at it? When change happens, when something happens, there is either two ways. The first is that you can do something about that change, about that situation. Then the next one is you cannot do anything about it. So like what I said just now, the ones you can't do anything about, ask for help. Somebody still called me like 2-3 weeks ago, exactly the same thing. Ours is physical. So she's going to stay and she's looking for money to get a flat. I said, what does that mean? You need to leave. How do you know that the next time the man beats you? She said the last beating, he was gagging her neck, covering her mouth. I said, how do you know that the next beating it will not kill you? So don't wait inside that situation saying you're looking for money to rent a flat. Don't you have family? She said she still has parents. Please go to your parents' house. And God was so kind to her. The next time the man traveled a few days later. So she left. So that's what we are talking. Call somebody. You see, when you call somebody, I even talk about it. If you sit down there and you're thinking about your situation, it appears very big and large and overwhelming. But when you dare to take that first step and talk to somebody, and you hear a different perspective about the issues that you're going through, it first of all reduces all the stressors, all the stress in your life, and it will be 50% solved. Different perspective to things that we go through. So seek for help. And that is somebody that is already having a mental health issue. So I think what we need to talk about is how to maintain it and we do not break down. So to prevent it, prevention. So what do we do? Number one, we cannot overemphasize it. Talk to people. Do not keep things to yourself. Don't say they will laugh at me. If they laugh, will you die? That person that is laughing at you, that woman, she has her own issues. There's nobody under the sun that does not have one or two things that they are dealing with. So please, and before you go, of course, I'm not going to tell your story to everybody. There will be that one person that you'll be able to talk to and they will offer you appropriate. Even just listening to you makes a lot of difference. So let's talk about our feelings, all of us. We must have one or two friends that we can discuss with. You can go to the church, to the mosque, people that that will be in a position to help you. Then, of course, we cannot overemphasize this. It's always good to sleep at night. I saw one question. The person said, my brain is working during the day and also at night. Your brain is not supposed to be working at night. So you must learn to let go. And that's why sometimes when we give this talk, we tell people, as much as possible, don't take work home. Once you leave your office for that day, you have finished the work. Go home. You know what helped me when my own children were still young? I read an article that, look, once you get home, I don't do anything. I just lie down in my sitting room. I will allow my children to surround me. They're making their noise, but I am shifting. I'm shifting my mental capacity from workplace into home environment. So I just lie down there, sometimes 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Of course, I can't sleep because I have a barrage of work to do. But I change my thinking lying down there. So after I have rested a bit, and I'll get up. Okay, so what are we doing? What are you taking to work, school tomorrow? Let's wash school uniform. Let's do this. So I have shifted from work mode into my home mode. And I found that helps me significantly. So all women, we must learn to do this. What are we going to, like I said earlier on, acknowledge the emotions that you're going through, that you're having, then begin to deal with each one. So we must learn to sleep well at night. It is important. Shut down that your brain. You know, there was a year like that, few years back, when I was not sleeping and I started screaming because I knew the implication of not sleeping at night. So my husband looked at and said, it is your phone. Your phone is always ringing, beeping, this one, text message, WhatsApp, da, da, da. So he took the phone and removed all the noise. So I learned by the time it's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., I put my phone far away from me. I put it on silence. If you did not call me all day, that you had a problem, don't call me at night, because I have worked all day. I need to rest at night too. Yes, I am the doctor, but the doctor needs to take care of herself. So, and I found out that I was able to get back and I started sleeping again. So we must know ourselves. We must know what is stressing us, identify it, and look for solution. So sleep well at night. Poor sleep can lead to breakdown, mental breakdown. And if one already has a mental illness, it can also lead to poor sleep. Eat well. We can't overemphasize it. Eating well, balanced diet. It even helps our body to fight infections. So not just our mental health. When you are strong physically, then you can imagine that you'll be able to deal with your mental health better. So let us learn to eat well. It improves our well-being, our mood. Stay active. Activity, physical activity. I'm not saying you should run, you should go to the gym, you don't have the money. Yes, so you can walk in your house, you can walk on your staircase. Consistency. It helps physically, it helps our mood. Practice mindfulness. Be aware of your environment. It is so important. Some people come out, they're telling me to keep quiet. Some people come out and they don't know what is going on around them. You pass it, you can't even see the flower, the beauty of the flower around you. You get to your office, you can't notice that the bulbs are out. I get into consulting room and my doctors are seated there. And I said, why are you sitting in the dark? I said, there's no light. It breaks my heart. You must be aware. And when you're aware of what's going on around you, then you'll be in touch with your emotions, then you'll be able to deal with your emotions. So let all of us learn mindfulness. Keep in touch with family and friends. Very, very important. Nobody can do life alone. We are social beings. We need each other. Please remember that. Ask for people, go visit. Do FaceTime. I hope I'm correct. Do FaceTime, talk, gist, and laugh. Very important. So learn to care for others. Care for yourself. You're tired. Take time off. I said somebody that said, do we have to clean all the time? No, you do not have to clean all the time. If it's only you and your husband that are left because of your face, the face of life you are in right now, you can decide to clean the kitchen today. You are the only one cooking there. So you should not pour water on the floor that you have to mop all the time. You can decide to clean the bedroom the next day. You clean the visitor's room on Wednesday. So space yourself. You are important. You need to be alive. So when you are stressed, rest. That small money you have, you will use it to help a fellow woman be a fellow woman. Call an aide to come and clean your house. Pay her 3,000. You put your leg on the stool. I love that face. And you are relaxed and you are happy. Know yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of other people. Let go of grudges. Forgive people. Whatever. This life is just, there's just a thin line between when you're alive and you are dead. So whatever they do, forgive. You don't know what that other person is going through. So maintain as much as possible that lies with you. Maintain good relationships with the significant others in your life, at work, in the community where you live. Just smile. I mean, you don't know what that does to you. And you smile at others. It will attract people to you and you have a good time at work. We almost remember to volunteer. Don't stay alone. Volunteer. When you do things for other people, you feel good, you are happy, and you will sleep well at night. So learn to volunteer. Avoid isolating yourself. When that feeling of isolation comes, you know that what's wrong with me? Call a friend. Get out. Go and volunteer in the church. Engage in one activity. Go to the mosque. Do something. They want to go for evangelism. Volunteer. You don't feel like talking, I know, or putting that effort. So don't let that feeling get you down to the extent that you become depressed or you become totally isolated in your house. So I think if all of us can do this, it might sound simple, and I was talking about, but these are the facts of life, and this is what is keeping everybody. If you know, you know. So please let us learn all this. Be mindful, make an effort. Don't keep yourself in isolation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Akiola. It looks like a whole lot, but honestly, that's the take home for a lot of us today. Self-care is important. Don't love everyone and forget yourself. You are also very important in the equation of things. Give yourself a hug. I'm very used to greeting myself. I would tell myself, Kemi, well done. If nobody sees it, if nobody appreciates it, I would greet myself. I celebrate myself. I take myself out and enjoy by myself. And then I come back, we'll start the day again. So please and please, self-care is important. Identify the sources of your trigger. There are so many questions and comments on the platform. I don't know if we will be able to take all of that today. But somebody is so persistent and it's been dropping the same question over and over. And that is the question of, yes, a woman is trying to speak up. Some family members will tell you to keep quiet. You don't need to talk because your husband doesn't like him to be reported. And the woman will still need to be blamed for speaking up. So what can such a woman do? Please, advice is needed. And we have Dr. Akiola addressed that earlier. Get help. Don't keep silent. It's affecting your mental functioning. Then get help. And I appreciate people who have dropped the domestic violence address on the platform here. Please do that. Dr. Akiola, you have one thing to say quickly?
Why does she have to go to her husband's family to report? There's nothing you say under the sun. They're going to support they're going to support their son. So when I say talk to people, I did not say you should go to your in-laws place. You might. It's very rare that you get maybe a sister-in-law or an in-law that will listen to you and that will support you. So leave that aside, please. Get help somewhere else, and not everybody, just be careful and know who you talk to. You can talk wherever, a Muslim or a Christian, go to church, go to, somebody you can trust at work, even in the community, a neighbor. I know my friend that she has helped somebody in our community on our street that was having domestic violence. They are doing very well right now. So it's not, I don't think you should go to your in-laws to make a report about your husband. They will support your husband. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Akiola, for that. So thank you so very much for the comment on the platform. Dr. Maki, I hope I get that name very well, but no, thank you so much for this comment about abuse thrives on secrecy, abusers thrive on silence. So still speak up, but to the right people. And that's what Dr. Akiola had equally mentioned at this point in time. So much comments of this. Somebody saying, okay, Dr. Akiola, I've addressed the question of the mind not shutting down. You need to begin to take care of yourself, do activities that will allow your mind to shut down at night. Yes, music is good, art therapy is also good. Joy says, identify the source of your stress and take action. That's also very, very important. Mama Professor Eileen Oshino says women should undertake stress audit and practice self-care and relaxation. That is also very, very important. Don't let yourself go. Engaging in craft with the children can be fun, innovative, and engaging too. That's also very important. The crisis line had been sent to the platform. Please and please, if you need this, or you know that there's somebody that needs it, or you might even just keep it, just save it somehow. Somebody might need it around you. Rofia says stigmatization will allow most women to report or speak out. And the biggest barrier is ignorance and fear of voicing out to the wrong channel. Please ensure that you get the right channel and talk about all of those things. It's been a very wonderful webinar today, really, really wonderful webinar today. And I want to appreciate all the women who had been on this call. Yes, can I have your contact? Oh, yes, I just dropped the Yaba Voice contact on this line. Now I'm going to resend that while we take the last comment from Dr. Akogun. Dr. Akogun, Please, your last comment for this webinar today, ma'am.
Well, I just appreciate that we're discussing this topic at this moment. It's very educative. And I know that even though we are speaking to the public, some of us women or men that are here are learning a lot of things. So it's a good thing, and I will encourage everybody. All the strategies that we have discussed is good for us to begin to practice them, and that will be helpful to either a male or a female. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Akogu. Yes, Dr. Akiola, your last comments on this platform.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moderator. So I think the last thing I will talk about is that it is important that we take time every day to attend to ourselves. Attend to your mental health, your physical health, and your soul. Okay, remember when I gave the definition for what mental health is, I talked about having a connection with a higher being. So you must take care of your soul, your mind, and your body. Rest well, eat well. When something is too much, please leave it. You cannot be superwoman. You can't learn to ask for help. If you can't go to market, send somebody. Oh, they're going to steal my money. They will take 1,000, 2,000 out of your money. Is that not okay? But you're at home and they've done the work for you. So learn to rest, know yourself, rest. Don't keep things on your mind. Forgive, let it go, and you'll be happy. And we'll all live a longer life, living positively, and we'll be healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Akiola. Is the medical director still on the call with us? Dr. Weye? Okay. Is he on? Okay. All right. So on behalf of the medical director, once again, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for being on this call with us. It's been a wonderful time. And you would agree with me that we have learned a lot. I have sent the Yaba Voice webinar, the Yaba Voice link to us. I'm trying to send mine for people who want direct we will just try and send as much messages to you in terms of notification and creating awareness. Oh, the medical director is here. Dr. Weye, one last word for our audience today, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Kemi Akitoyesi. I just want to express my sincere gratitude to our presenters, Dr. Akinola and Dr. Akogun, for a job well done. It was a great
All right, so I think the MD's network is really very disturbing today. So on this final note, we want to say thank you to everyone for being on this call with us today. We so very much appreciate you. By God's grace, next month we'll be looking at your mental health and environmental factors. And so we'll be looking at a lot of environmental factors that affect our mental health function. Until then, please stay safe, take care of yourself, take care of everybody around you, but please don't forget yourself. Relax, enjoy yourself. There is just this one life. Let's not take it overly too serious. Practice forgiveness and just appreciate yourself. Thank you so very much. The link will also be shared on the Yaba Voice Facebook, Yaba Voice one word, on Twitter. We are Yaba Voice one word, on Instagram, Yaba Voice one word. So you can join us, and then you can go to the YouTube page to watch this webinar again, or make a reference there. The YouTube page of the Yaba Voice is just one word, Yaba Voice one word, Yaba Voice FMPHY. You will also see recordings of the past webinars that we have done. So until then, please take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye.